Well, welcome everyone to the Financial Coach Master Training informational webinar. We're super excited to have you on the live presentation as we had over 6,000 people register for this webinar, and you may have just saw that no one else can get in. So if you're in, I'm super excited that you're in, and this is going to be a lot of fun. Guys, we're going to spend the next 45 to 50 minutes sharing with you the exciting news, the new news about Financial Coach Master Training. And then, of course, we want to answer your questions, okay? So my name is Chris Campbell, and I'm the Associate Director of Financial Coaching. And joining me today is the Senior Director of Financial Coaching, Bill Lowe. So really excited to have you guys on the call with us today, and really can't wait to share this information with you. And I know Bill is super excited as well. A couple of housekeeping items that we have here is how to ask questions. So on the right-hand side of your screen, you'll actually see an orange arrow. I want you to expand that out. That will allow you to ask questions about the program we're talking about, plus any other questions you may have as well. And then also, we're going to be recording this event, as we are right now. So if you're like, what'd that guy say? You can go back and listen to this later. And I know some of you guys couldn't make it, and many of you just couldn't get in right now because so many of you already registered, that we'll get a recording out later as well for you to review. So another big thing I want to talk about is a giveaway at the end. As promised, we're going to be doing a big giveaway of over $1,700 value, which we're super excited to have as well. And to kind of go ahead and get in that spirit of that, I wanted to give away a signed, Dave Ramsey's actually going to sign it himself, a Total Money Makeover book, which, guys, this book has been out for 15 years, but it's also been a New York Times bestseller for the 15 years. We just celebrated that a little bit yesterday, 52 straight weeks last year, which was awesome. Every week it was on the top sellers list. So I wanted to let you know that Aaron M., I saw you sign in. I wanted to give you that book. We'll follow up here in a little bit later, and we'll tell you how to get that. We're going to send that out to your house. Super excited to get that. I'll have Dave sign that right to you, Aaron, and really, really excited about that as well. So Bill, if you don't mind, let's get started.
Excellent, Chris. Thank you. Hey, everybody. This is Bill. I am very, very happy to have an opportunity to spend some time today with you all and with Chris. Happy New Year. Hope your holidays were fantastic. We had some good downtime at the end of the year, and we're back in the saddle, so to speak, and looking to really have a good year and help some people with their finances. And so why don't we take a quick look to start things off at the current state of affairs in the United States, right? There's a lot of data on this slide, obviously, right? A lot of your eyes are probably darting around here. A lot of data points on this slide, but let's go big picture for a second. In Chris and I's opinion, the big picture point of this slide is that, you know, in 2018, we are now 10 years away from really the Great Recession, right? 08, 09 really started that whole debacle, and it really appears, sadly, quite frankly, that people haven't learned a heck of a lot over these last 10 years, okay? And so I'll just kind of pick out some of these data points here, but really like that first one in the middle, the 12.73 trillion, yes, that's not a typo. That's the total consumer debt in the United States. You know, 1.3 trillion of student loan debt, right? Wrap your head around that a second, okay? The average car loan in America today is 7 years. Right, the days of a 3-year, 4-year, 5-year car loan seem to be in the rearview mirror. We're out to 7 years right now. Okay, the ones I want to focus on, though, data point in terms of kind of the state of affairs right now, is over there to the right. So 7 out of 10 people do not budget consistently. This is right out of a recent member survey. We have a couple 100,000 people a year go through our FPU, Financial Peace University program, and what they're telling us, at least as they're entering that 9-week program, is that they are not budgeting. They are not telling their money where to go ahead of time.
Yeah, and guys, these are folks that actually are saying, hey, I have a problem, or I want to get going with my finances, and they're still saying that. So think what that number is with folks that are not being intentional.
Exactly, Chris. And so second thing I want to just cover real quickly is that data point right below that. 66% of Americans would struggle to pay for a $1,000 emergency. And you guys might have read these stats or might be aware of them, but I want to just break it down. What that means in real life, guys, is that these folks are one bad alternator or one water heater going out from a real crisis. And really the only option they have at that point, and it's a bad one, is to pull out the good old Amex or Visa and start that data point up above that at 16.14%, okay? Thing three that I want to just cover right here, and we'll spend some more time on this, is really this one right here. Is this stat that many of you might have been aware of. 78% of people in America today are living paycheck to paycheck. And so let's break this down a bit further. Okay, so, you know, think about 100 of your neighbors, if you live in the typical neighborhood here in America, or 100 of your coworkers, maybe 100 people that you go to church with every week, right? Almost 80% of them have zero margin in their financial life, right? If anything at all goes sideways, they're sunk, okay? And kind of, you really can't even tell who these folks are anymore. Not that it's important to tell who they are, but you really can't tell who they are anymore, because when I'm driving around, everyone I know except me has an iPhone 10, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Everyone's driving a brand new Ford Explorer. Everyone's telling you about their family going to Destin for spring break. Those aren't bad things, guys. But in a world where 8 out of 10 people are living paycheck to paycheck, people are hiding, right? And they're hiding right in front of us. It's a real epidemic. This is why our team and our organization does what we do, and why it's really so very important for us to train and develop like-minded coaches who can help us solve this. Make sense? Okay. So where do Ramsey Solutions trained coaches come from, right? And so I like this slide because it kind of is a cool story that we're allowed to tell here. The answer is really all over, and they have all different kinds of backgrounds, all right? All over means the United States. Obviously, it's kind of our home territory. Really anywhere in the country you can think of, domestic, continental United States, even up in Hawaii and Alaska and so forth, Canada, good contingent from down in South America and so forth. You know, really coming from all over the place in the United States. But this is also an international story as well here, guys. We have a lot of people from outside the United States that are choosing to raise their hand and leverage our brand and our program to work with people in their neck of the woods, so to speak. Canada, South America, Great Britain, you can see some of those dots there. That far little blob down on the far right is a good old Australia. Okay, and it really kind of blows our minds. That's a big jump, right? It's a big commitment for somebody to come up here from Australia. So kind of it's an international story these days, and it's been building over the past couple years, but it's really well outside of the bounds of the United States at this point, the people where they're coming from to get trained. All backgrounds, I'll move through this pretty quick, but the interesting thing that I always find, Chris, as we go through different classes, if you will, is the varied backgrounds, right?
Oh, yeah.
Of people that they have. We have teachers and firemen, border patrol agents, stay-at-home moms, real estate agents, CPAs, financial advisors.
Professional athletes.
We had a guy that was on the Green Bay Packers a year or so ago that came through the program. Retired bankers, retired chemists, really every background that you can think of. What it's all about, though, beyond their background, is they're looking to be part of the solution, right? That's the commonality of those backgrounds, right? And so for 17 years, right, we're just starting our 18th year training financial coaches. For 17 of those years, to become a Ramsey trained coach, it involves traveling to Nashville, Tennessee, kind of our hometown, okay? Now, Nashville is a cool town.
Super cool town.
Right? Okay, it's probably, you can argue that it's the it town possibly in the whole country right now, okay? Very, very on fire. People moving here, high visitation, high vacation place. But bottom line, it's a big ask to ask somebody to travel from those dots you see on your screen right there to Nashville, okay? For 17 years, it required that, though, okay? It's a big ask in the standpoint that for most people, it's $1,000 to $1,500 of additional costs for travel expenses, right? If you're talking about somebody from Australia or parts farther out, it even goes up from there, right? It's also it has been at least, the better part of a week away from work and from family, okay? The feedback that we received over the last few years in particular is that it was a pretty big barrier to ask people to jump through, okay? So starting today, all this changes. Right. Chris?
Yep, absolutely. So guys, what he's talking about here is we're talking about doing FCMT online, which we're super, super excited about. And, you know, we're going to talk to you more about what all that encompasses and how that works. But I first wanted to talk to you about what makes a great coach, because coming to the training, being a part of our training, doing anything like that makes total sense for a lot of folks. But a lot of folks ask the question, hey, so what does it take to be a great coach? Surely there's got to be a crazy background. Surely there's got to be, you got to be like Dave, whatever that may look like. The answer absolutely is that's just not true. You have to have two things, maybe three. And this sounds like brochure filler, so go with me here for a second. But we're really looking for folks that have a heart of a teacher, that have the willingness to learn, and ultimately a desire to be a part of something that's bigger than themselves. Now, guys, we have turned people away. We believe in this so much.
That's right.
When people come in, they don't have the heart of a teacher. They don't have the willingness to learn. And I'm talking about on the phone. I'm talking about in a webinar. We just kind of see it up front. We say, hey, this maybe isn't the best move for you.
We're not mad at them.
No, not at all. Not at all. But I do think but the other thing is I see the person who does have a heart of a teacher, who does have the willingness to learn, but they're kind of concerned about, well, what about my background? I'm like, you got it already. You're fine. So what's the heart of a teacher look like? That looks like you're interested in seeing this person prevail. You're interested in seeing them move forward. It's not what can I get out of this? It's what can they get out of me helping them? The willingness to learn, guys, it's a joke, but if you already know it all, probably not a great training to take, right? If you're wondering, what could these guys teach me? You're right. There is nothing we could teach you. You're good. But if you're in one of those camps where you're going, hey, listen, I know I've got a great passion here, but I want to learn and figure out what does Dave's team do? Well, how do they work with folks? Guys, finances is still 80% behavior. I would even say maybe it's 90% behavior. That's what it's all about. People, if you know what to do and you don't do it, you might as well not even know what to do, right? Because it's worthless to you. So again, the heart of a teacher, the willingness to learn, the desire to be a part of something. So if you're asking yourself and you're kind of wanting to ask that question here at Q&A, so what type of background, what do I have to have done before I can come to this training? That's the three things we're looking for right there, all right? So why do people even take our training? What do they do? What do they do when they get back home? Very, very common question, and it's a very, very simple answer. Ultimately, guys, we see folks do one of three things. They either launch a ministry back at their church, or they join a ministry that's already going. They already see that need that Bill's talking about. And guys, that need is everywhere. We're talking about 250 million Americans right now that are in that position. Whether you see it or not, nice car, nice house, doesn't matter. That's why they go back and launch a ministry. The next thing we see folks do is they charge for coaching. They go back, they launch a coaching business on the side. Some people even have aspirations of maybe doing it full-time at one point, but many of them start right here. They do this as a side gig. It's not a world of or, it's a world of and. They work at Bridgestone through the week, and they coach at nights and weekends. They're a CPA through the week. They do coaching on the weekends or at night, or maybe inside of their practice. Or they're a stay-at-home mom, and they want to do something after the babies go to bed. I know that's what my wife does. That's what they do on the side. So the only difference that separates those two from our perspective is money, charging or not charging, and that's it. The third thing we see folks do is really just to sharpen the saw. They're a financial peace coordinator. They're a stewardship pastor at their church, and they're just like, you know what? I just really want to be way more confident and competent in helping people. And maybe it's not a part of a ministry, maybe it's not a part of a business, but I want to sharpen the saw and I want to be really good at what I do. That's the three folks that come. Now, here's an interesting fact for you to consider. 70% of folks that's come through our training over the last 17 years do both. Everybody who does it as a ministry is always like, ooh, what would it look like to do as a business? Everybody who does it as a business says, ooh, what if I want to give away some sessions? So we teach you how to be a really good coach, and how you choose to use it is totally fine. Again, the only thing that changes is saying, hey, this costs this much, or this doesn't cost anything. It's just some time that we're going to dedicate. That's what you have to remember. So why do people take the training? Launch a ministry, launch a coaching business, or sharpen the saw. All right. So why FCMT Online, Bill?
Yeah, absolutely, Chris. And so what we've done is we've taken all that we have learned and all the feedback that we received over the last 17 years, and really we're launching our next gen coach training solution. That's what we're talking about here today, guys. Our next gen coach training solution, FCMT Online. It's a blended learning approach. It's online and live virtual, anytime, anywhere, from home or office, at your pace. Chris is going to get down in the weeds just here in a second. Let me just kind of talk a little bit bigger picture about why FCMT Online and why you might choose to leverage our brand and our organization as kind of like your partner, your co-pilot, if you will. Okay. So at some level, it's about leveraging Ramsey Solutions' globally trusted brand, right? Many of you, probably a lot of you, know who we are and what we're all about. Some of you might be less familiar, so let me just take a second here. One of the things that we're known for is we have the the number 3 radio show in the United States. There's 14 million people a week listen to the Dave Ramsey Show every day, right? Hundreds of thousands of people every year go through our core Financial Peace University curriculum. Okay, as Chris mentioned a minute ago, we are a pretty prolific book publisher. Probably the book that we're most well known for is The Total Money Makeover. Again, as Chris mentioned, that book came out in 2003. My, how time flies, right? It was a sensation when it came out, but it has not petered out a lick in 14 years. In fact, as Chris mentioned, in 2017, the Wall Street Journal hardcover bestseller list, The Total Money Makeover was on that bestseller list 52 out of 52 weeks in 2017, okay? So it's about leveraging our brand, okay? Learning from 25 years in the trenches. So you need to hear my heart, and speaking for Chris here, his heart as well here. We're not saying that we have it all figured out. We're not saying that we know it all by any stretch of the imaginations. We've made so many mistakes, guys, that you can't even imagine, right? Mm-hmm. But you do anything for 25 years and you're intentional about it and you course correct, you'll learn a few things, right? And that's what we're talking about, is passing that 25 years, really a quarter century of learnings right to you. Before there were books and the radio show and FPU, it was Dave coaching people one-on-one here in his church in Nashville, Tennessee. That's where this whole thing got started, was with coaching people one-on-one, okay? It's about access to our playbook and forms. We are an open book, right, Chris?
That's right.
Right. We are purposely 100% transparent. We share everything. We want to show you what we do, how we do it, why we do it. We want to shorten your learning curve. We want to partner with smart people that can take the essence of what we do and either run with it or take the essence of what we do and morph it slightly for their style and so forth. But it's about our playbook. It's about our forms. We're going to give you the things that we actually literally use up to this very moment when our coaches do coaching sessions with people around the country, right? Okay, you might want to reinvent all this stuff yourself, but why would you if you don't have to, okay? The last thing about why you'd want to leverage and partner with us is really to get support from our Dave Ramsey coaching team. I'm blessed to run a really high-octane, super talented team of people, but we are 100% dedicated to giving you, as Chris mentioned, the confidence and the competence to coach people one-on-one in your community. So that's what it's really all about. Right. All right. So if I can break down one more time why FCMT Online, it's really a basic equation, right? It's a simple desire to help other people improve their financial life, right? That's really where it starts, okay, is that desire. Then you couple that with a proven 25-year process. The outcome of that is a successful coach. Now, many people define success differently, and that's totally cool, okay? I'm probably going to date myself, but there's a guy that was really influential to me, particularly in my early years in business. His name was Earl Nightingale. Maybe some of you might be familiar with him. Some really seminal, groundbreaking work in terms of the business of human development and motivation and so forth. Lead to Field is one of his core courses. He had the first million-selling record, non-music record called The Strangest Secret. But Earl Nightingale has a definition of success that really resonates with me that I'm going to share with you. So Earl said, success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. So what that means to us in terms of how that applies to becoming a Ramsey trained coach is you're constantly going toward something, right? You really never arrive. Our team is 25 years in, and we're still pursuing and still learning, and that's what we talk about when we say success, okay? So
yeah, because even if you're looking at ministry or business, there's not a dollar amount, there's not a people amount that you're looking for that defines success. It's constantly pursuing, as Bill was just saying. That's how you define success. So anytime you see somebody put successful on there, you're always like, well, what's that mean? Well, that's what it means to us, right?
All right, so Chris, let's get in the weeds and let's talk about what's included.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the fun part, guys. This is what I love the most. See, FCMT Online is going to be an interactive online experience that will teach you how to coach someone from crisis all the way through retirement. And really excited about this footage. We have over 14 hours of engaging coaching videos that would be led by Chris Hogan and by Dave Ramsey. Really excited about that one. Now, the thing that separates our coaching and our coach training from anybody else's or from really any other type of online learning is the interactive group calls with your peers and with our financial coaches. That's what separates it. For many years, we just ran an online, just an event, as Bill mentioned, and people would go back going like, oh man, I really want more, I want more. So we created a way for them to engage with our coaches, and it absolutely worked hand over fist. It worked awesome. But even past that, people are still going, hey, what more? What more? I mean, that's probably the number one thing our coaches would say to us. Yep. I want more, I want more, I want more. These interactive group calls with your coaches and your peers is where you really break down the material. And the difference is you're not just kind of listening to it and then maybe we'll catch up with you later. There's specific times you'll be engaging with those coaches and your peers to go over that material, share best practices, tell you what you need to be getting out of that, how to get down in the weeds, which is what you want to do if you want to be a good, confident and competent coach. As Bill is kind of beating into the ground, which I love it, key insights and best practices from 25 years of working with people one-on-one. You cannot fake that, guys. We don't do talking heads around here. Dave is adamant. We're real or we don't do it. And guys, these coaches are real and you're getting everything we learn. Dave's first employee, his name was Russ Carroll, retired from our team 3 years ago. Right. Every single one of our coaches on our team worked personally with him from day one. Guys, he moved Dave's card table out of his living room to start this business. That's the guy who we worked under for all those years. That's also what we've done and implemented and iterated with over the last 25 years as well. Now, this is a fun part, new as well. Yep. This gives you way good access to our team. Office hours for chat with our Ramsey coaches. Guys, there's not this massive like call center team of coaches that Dave has. We have 3. We've had 4 in 25 years. Think about that, including Dave 5, okay? Mm-hmm. But 4 that work for Dave. You're getting access to those guys. As you have questions about the content you're reviewing, fire that chat up. Ask them any question you want to do about that. You're going to get somebody on our team. Heck, Bill and I may even jump in there as well, right? It'll be fun. Now, a couple other things that we're going to do for this group as well is we're going to do Q&A webinars each month as well. Now, what this is going to look like, this is where we're going to get the big group together, and this is where you learn from other people's questions. Sometimes you're thinking like, what questions would I have? I don't know, but I know that if John and Sally have a question, that I might learn something from their questions or may haven't even thought about it. Something I may deal with in the future that I would have totally missed out on had I not done that. So we do big Q&As on that. Another fun one I'm excited about is the flash webinars we'll be doing on financial topics. So guys, think about this. The tax code, love it or like it, this is what we're going to have. So how do you coach somebody on that? How do you separate that truth from the noise? The market drops 30%. What are you going to do? You're going to coach them the fear-based, or are you going to be like, oh, Chicken Little, whatever it's going to? No, we're going to help you separate the truth from the noise. Here's what's really going on. Here's how you need to keep your focus. Pick your poison with the financial topics that's kind of the topic of the day, right? Or we're seeing it a lot on those chats. We're going to fire up a flash webinar, and we're going to handle that and get right in there. And guys, that's how you're going to grow, and that's how our team grows as well. Now, Bill mentioned you can create your own coaching forms, but why would you? We're going to give you unlimited access to all of our coaching forms we use and, of course, our bonus materials. And, guys, that doesn't end. You continue to have access to those. We want you to have those. We have coaching content for just you. It's just between us and you. Here's what you need to know as a coach. Here's what you use as a coach. Here's a piece of paper if you're doing a bankruptcy session. Here's how you handle that. These are specifically for you. We also created one specifically for your clients. Hey, you have a client that's dealing with this? Hand them this. Utilize this. But we're going to teach you how to use that, but we want you to keep using that. And we iterate on those. Those things change. Those forms are constantly changing. Over the last 25 years, guys, we used to send out a workbook that was equivalent to Dante's Inferno. And now we got it down to 2 or 3 pages that really helps that client who's not dealing with, man, their life's in shambles, their finances are in shambles. The last thing they need to do is complete an entire 25-page workbook. So we whittled it down, and it works perfect. But we're going to continue to iterate on that as well. We also have, man, I cannot tell you guys how many people we've brought in from the outside that are some of the best minds at doing online learning and everything you can imagine. All of the coaching exercises that we do quizzes, tests, those engagement calls that you do with your peers and your coaches to help you learn, validate, and practice. Guys, if you just can take a test and regurgitate that just to get past the test, that's not what we're looking for. And that's why we built this program, to really know that you're learning it, show that you can validate it, and then put it into practice. That's how you become the best kind of coach. Because I'm going to tell you right now, over the years I've worked with coaches, what they're most worried about is getting caught on that call and going, ooh, what if I don't know the answer to that? Well, let me go ahead and kill that myth for you. It's going to happen, and I'm going to show you how to overcome that, and that's the fun part right there. Access, now, guys, these are the bonus materials, okay? And they're worth a lot of money, but we put them in. We wanted them to be a post. We wanted to stand under the product to go, if you do these things in conjunction, it's going to make you even a better coach. So we're going to give you FP Online. We're going to give you a simple will, because you're going to walk into people who don't know anything about wills. We have a whole estate planning lesson where we talk about simple wills and how that works. So we wanted to give you one as well, so you can see what do they walk through when they do that. A DISC test. Now, the guys, this is going to help you with the personality side of things. This is what's going to allow you not to learn about you. It's not the Myers-Briggs or all those other ones you have to memorize like 40% of the alphabet to know what you are. This is 4 letters, and we talk about how do you coach someone else? How do you work towards their strengths, not just how do they bend towards you? EveryDollar Plus, best budgeting app on the planet right now, ebooks plus more. All that's built in, and you unlock that as you go through the training. Super awesome. Guys, leaders are readers. Our coaches have put together a reading list that have helped them grow. As we mentioned earlier, you have to be developing. If you're not developing, that's how we define success. You're not being successful. You're very stagnant. Life is on an uphill incline on roller skates. You're either going forward or rolling backwards. Reading helps you go forward. We put that list together for you as well. Once you go through our training, you also earn the designation of a Ramsey Solutions Master Financial Coach. Now, again, guys, you have to complete the course. We're not going to throw it out there. Our name is probably the biggest thing we have going for us. We lose our name, it's over, right? So we don't put that just on anybody. So once you complete the course, you've engaged with our coaches, we know you're good and ready to go, you earn that designation. And I'll talk more about that in a second. Now, something also that we changed, and Dave actually put this in here, which we were like, what? And he was like, yep, I want the guys to have access to this. So normally when you come to our training, you just go through the training, you get a couple workbooks, it's awesome, we do our mentorship with you, you go home. That's it. I've had it for years where people ask, hey, can I get a video? Hey, can I get an audio? I really want to go back to that. Well, Dave was like, let's do a full year access to all materials, all videos, and even keep that chat in there too. So as they go back through and they're doing a bankruptcy lesson or a bankruptcy session, they got that document, that's great. They can go back and watch that video, but then they can go, hang on a second, I don't remember what 13 was, and I watched the video. Hey, Lisa, how do you work that with a chapter 13? Boom, you got it right there. That's awesome, okay? Also, guys, as I mentioned, after that, we still have folks that are saying, hey, what's next? What's next? And I promise you, if you're thinking I'm not that type, every person I've ever dealt with is always like, what's next, right? So we have you, we give you the eligibility to be a part of our local coach development program, and then, yes, also being listed on DaveRamsey.com, which is a fantastic thing that I'll talk about here in just a second. So, Bill?
Excellent. So let's talk about lesson overview. This is just kind of a quick flyover of some of the core content lesson-wise in the training program. I think there's 13 awesome lessons. I'm proud to say that. I'm up to my eyeballs in putting this thing together, but I'm really pleased with what we've put together. But there's 13 core foundational lessons, and they're really on topics that run the gamut from sick to thriving, if you will, right? And so sick is obviously someone who's considering bankruptcy or foreclosure or getting hounded by collectors, things like that, right? Thriving is somebody who's focused on retirement, insurance, estate planning, and so forth, and really everything in between. But there's also, again, we talk about sharing our playbook and opening up and being transparent with you. We're going to teach you our coaching process and our various coaching models that we have, both a short-term and a long-term model, okay? Because there's different ways to, again, skin a cat in terms of how you work with people. That one down on the second from the bottom on the right side, starting your coaching practice, is one of my personal favorite lessons. It's really where our 3 coaches that work for us and work for me really walk you through about how to network, how to market your coaching ministry or business, sales if you're doing it for a business, getting your practice off the ground, right? It's getting started. It's launching. For many people, that's the first pivotal step that is required, and it's a challenge for some people. So we're going to be intentional about that.
Yeah, and guys, that's the most unique lesson. I mean, our coaches really, they did this one on their own. They wanted to put some stuff specifically together for you outside of like the normal engagement. They wanted to put their own stuff together for you. That's why we have it. And as Bill mentioned right there, the scary stuff, right? Bankruptcy, student loan, foreclosures, collectors. Guys, that's the ones that people are always like, oh, what do I do? What if I don't know what to do? That's where Chris Hogan and our coaching team really gets down in the weeds on those, which I'm super, super excited about. So as I mentioned to you a moment ago about that Ramsey Solutions Master Financial Coach designation, you have to complete the training. But I just wanted to say a couple more things about that. We do give you a certificate of completion on that, which I want you to tell people how you got that. The worst thing for me is when I look at someone's name on an email signature and I see like 3 or 4 letters behind it, and I'm wondering, what is that? And if you look it up, you see that all you have to do is pass a couple tests, and then that's it. And then you got that. And what does that really mean? Well, it basically means I can sell investments, I can sell insurance, I can do taxes, but no one really deals with the day-to-day pain points. You know, if you were sick and your back hurt, you probably saw that. We put that out in one of the emails. But if your back hurt, where would you go? You go to the doctor. You know, if your tooth hurt, where would you go? You would go to the dentist. Let me ask you this question. Where would you go if your budget is messed up? Do you know that most people would say I'd go to my financial advisor? And do you realize that financial advisors are not bad, but they don't do that. They work with investments and insurance. Oh, you want to go to your CPA? That's fine. They do taxes. No one really addresses that. We just talked to you about 80% of the country does not have a plan for their money. 7 out of 10 people don't budget at all. 250 million people. That's who we're talking about. That's what our designation, that's what we say. You're ready to handle those people. Those are the people we want to go with.
Yep.
So that's what you earn once you go through that part of the training. Now, here's the last common question that we get about the training. After someone wraps up, what about after the training? Now what do people do? People take this training, then what do they go do? Well, they begin their coaching on their own. They go ahead and start that ministry. They go ahead and launch a coaching business. They go ahead and go back and they got their saw sharpened. They want to be a financial peace coordinator or go back to doing that. Perfect. They're good. We have about 60% of the people who come through our training that fall into this box. Most people fall into this box. But you know how I've kind of said about 50 times so far, though, that everyone keeps asking that what's more. So we created we created a secondary program called our Local Coach Program, which gives you ongoing access and development. You continue, even if you go past that year, if you're in this program, you continue to get access to the online, FCMT Online, all our videos, resources, and forums. We do monthly calls with our coaches and other subject matter experts on sales, marketing, and launching. That's what it's all about. If you're like, I'm not ready, launch. That's what we're going to focus on in that. One of the most active private Facebook groups I've ever seen is a part of this group. We have coaches from all over the country and even in Canada that are a part of this, and they share best practices. They talk about what they do. Hey, I just had this client. What do y'all think? Hey, I got this person I'm about to do this business opportunity for. What would you guys say? Here's my thought. They'll put videos out there. Here's what I'm going to put on my website. What do you guys think? Hundreds of coaches are going, this is what I would do. This is what I wouldn't do.
As well as our team weighing in.
Our team's in there as well. Absolutely. Plus, you get product discounts for your clients. This is a new one that we haven't never done before. Is phone and email access to our entire coaching team. So if you want to get on a phone call with one of our coaches, that's fine. You can do that.
You want to
shoot an email over? Not a big deal. We can handle that. That's a part of that. Plus everything you get with the Financial Coach Master Training Online. Now, this is kind of something new we're working on. It's the Local Coach Plus program. This is where you're listed on DaveRamsey.com, which is we get tens of thousands of people a year that come through that site looking for a financial coach specifically. They're going, I need some help, and they go on our site and they fill that out. Those go out through all over the country. And we do specific webinars. And guys, I'm talking about after the training right now, so we do specific webinars where we get down in the weeds on what that looks like. But something new on there, that listing on an Ask a Coach on FPU. Now, listen, FPU has 200,000 people a year that go through it. We just added a new feature on there that our coaches will actually be supporting soon that will be saying, hey, you have a question? You want to ask a coach? And then that coach appropriately can follow up and work with that person or just answer their question. But it gives you access to so many more people, plus being on the site. Now, as you see, we don't have that fully nailed down yet from a price per month or something like that, but I think I have something that might be interesting to you in a second, okay? So, Bill, tell the group a little bit about what you've been seeing.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me just slay the elephant in the room here. Chris and I we understand completely that who puts up a bad comment on a slide, okay? And who takes stock in these kind of things, I guess, at the end of the day, right? But all that being said, wanted to show you what a couple recent graduates are saying about our training. Maria talks about it being incredible, excellent job, definitely worth the price paid and then some. And that last and then some is really what warms our heart. We're looking to overserve people, okay? But it's really Tara G's comment number 2 that I want to focus on just for a second here, okay? And really you're talking about unselfishly sharing the insights and details of your business so that others can replicate it out in their communities. If I paid someone on Madison Avenue $1 million in New York to write up the essence of why we do what we do, that's what it is, right? From a training standpoint, is we're looking to share what we do, why we do it, how we do it, so that you can take that and replicate that in your neck of the woods, okay? You know, the bottom line is I believe in what we're doing with this program so much, Chris, and I'm so excited about our launch of FCMT Online that I can't wait till the end of the presentation. Let's give away a seat right now.
You want to do one right now?
That's right.
Okay. This one does not count against
That's right.
that, though, okay? So, guys, you can still win another one, but are you sure you want to do that?
Yes, I am.
Okay, guys, he's going rogue, but we'll do it, okay? I'm just going to pick a name,
That's
okay?
right.
That's the way we're going to do this, guys. So, Wanda B., we're going to give you access for free to Financial Coach Master Training Online. We'll follow up with you on how to do that. Guys, that's worth a lot of money.
Wanda's lucky day.
Wanda's lucky day. All right, okay. Good stuff. Guys, he's going rogue on me here, so bear with me, okay, for a second. And then we're going to do the real giveaway here in just a second. So just give me a second here. We'll get to that. So what are the next steps? So let's just say you're watching this and you're like, man, I want to be a part of that training, and what's that look like? So I want to let you know that the program access opens on February 1st, okay? So on February 1st, you can actually get into the program and things like that. But you guys have registered for a webinar in January. So where does that leave you? Well, the price is $17.95 of our program, okay? That is the price of FCMT Online. But the good news, as Bill mentioned, you don't have to travel anymore. We just saved you $1,000 or $1,500 right there. You can still get the same great training and more for $17.95. As I mentioned, though, you joined a webinar in January, not in February. So you're going, Chris, I can't wait till February. What are you talking about? Well, as a bonus, we're going to only open this up to 200 people in the month of January that will get an early bird registration, which means you'll get $200 off the $17.95. So $17.95 minus 200, simple math, $15.95 would be your price to be into the training, okay? And again, guys, that allows you to, in February, access the training. Now, again, there's nothing to get into. If you go to our website right now, you're not going to find this program. It's not even out there yet. But once you register in January, we're going to give you that. The thing is, it's only good through January 31st and when the 200 seats are gone. So one of those two things happen, we're going to just take it all down. Even the hidden page will be gone. You can't even do that. I actually twisted Bill's arm earlier, though, and I said, hey, let's help them out with something else. You remember those 3 boxes that said $0, $59, and then the TBD one where you're listed on DaveRamsey.com and you're listed on an Ask a Coach. If you want to, if you register in January, we'll also, instead of any price increase we're going to do for that listing on DR.com and listing on Ask a Coach, we're going to include that in the $59. So if you decide, hey, I want to be a part of the local coach program, you've taken advantage of the discount, and you're in January and you complete the program, guys, I know it's laughable, but I got to say that, then we'll give you that local coach program plus the listing for $59. So there will be no price increase for you on that, okay? So that's something we want to let you know there. That's the awesome price point we have, $15.95. Some of you guys, you know, we're gonna send an email out to everybody. But some of you guys have been asking, like, hey, how can I get involved? How can I get involved? I've just dropped you that hidden link. Please do not share that. If you'll use JAN200, JAN200, that will allow you to go ahead and register right now. You're going to get in before your colleagues. There you go. Okay? So now I want to get in some questions that you guys have had throughout. I saw a few of those, but I want to drag those out here real quick, Bill, and then let's get into those. And, guys, we'll respect your time, but we want to get into the questions you guys have already asked. All right. Give me just a second. Wow, you guys asked a ton of questions. When is the next coaching session since the spring is sold out, and how much is it? Well, Cecilia, you're exactly right. It is sold out. Our last training was in March, completely sold out in 30 days. That's why we offered this one. This is the next training. So as of this moment, right now, you can register for Financial Coach Master Training Online, and then you'll gain access to that on February 1st. We'll follow up. We have a whole communication plan starting today all the way through the end of the month that will have you ready to take the training whenever you're ready, okay? And as you just asked the last question, how much is it? Well, for you, it's $15.95. That's what it is. Make sure and use that link I just sent over and chat it over to everybody. Use Jan200. We're going to have an email out to you, though, within the next 20 minutes or so that will allow you to register from there as well. Plus, Dave has a really cool message on there for you as well. Let's see here. Bill, this is a good one. What experience is needed? We kind of covered that, but what experience is needed?
Yeah, so it kind of goes back to what Chris said, is that willingness to learn, the heart of a teacher. Again, we have varied backgrounds, and so people seem to think, and it doesn't hurt to have a background in finance. That's not a detriment or a negative by any stretch of the imagination. So don't hear Chris or I saying that. What we're saying, though, is that it's not required, right? As we have trained, some of our very, very best coaches have been stay-at-home moms, right? Or a retired pastor, right? Or a retired chemist, right? So it's really a heart issue more than a background issue. We'll train you. We'll load you up with what you need to know in terms of a process and information and a skill set that will allow you to go out in your community and coach people either as a ministry or a business. So really don't, from a background standpoint, again, if you're thinking, my gosh, I was an English major or I'm an engineer, okay, fantastic. Bring it on. Again, Border Patrol agent, retired football player, firemen, all make wonderful coaches in addition to people that had finance majors and are CPAs or an accountant.
Yep, absolutely. Good question here as well. How long does it normally take to go through the program, and how many hours per week should be dedicated to this? Very, very good question. So this is at your own pace, on your own time, and you can access it from anywhere. So it's an online program. And we see, and we've kind of fumbled around a little bit with this, but we've seen that it'll probably take the average person about 60 days to complete. Some can complete it faster than that. I mean, there's 14 hours worth of video to watch. There's test quizzes. There's other bonus activities to work through, like group calls that you're a part of. So, I would say about 60 days, but I mean, you can fire up a lesson, and we have lessons as short as 7 minutes long. And then, the whole chapter would be a little over an hour. So if you have an hour and you want to sit down and do a chapter or a lesson, you can do that. But about 60 days is what we're seeing. But again, you have full access to it for a full year. Okay. There you go as well. Good question coming here, Bill. Do we still need to go to Nashville after completion of the Master Training Online?
No, you don't have to. And so it's a good question, actually. So the core coach training program, FCMT Online, is a virtual online coach training program. It's all done from the comfort of your home or your office to complete and become that Ramsey Solutions Master Financial Coach designation, okay? That being said, we know there are a percentage of people that want to scratch that Nashville itch, right? That just kind of want to maybe wrap a vacation around it, or just want to make the pilgrimage to Ramsey Land and so forth. We have a new event that's called Enrichment, and it's a development program. It's a post-coach training program. So the premise is it's not open to the general public. You have had to have come through our coach training program to even be eligible for enrichment. And it's going to be a day and a half here in Nashville, some really fantastic internal speakers, some really fantastic external speakers. There we go. So if you are one of those people that want to scratch that Nashville itch and at some point aspire to come to Nashville and meet us in person, you'll have that opportunity over the coming years in our program called Enrichment.
Yeah, you just have to go through the FCMT Online training, because the March training is our last on-site training.
That's right.
So there is, you don't have to come to Nashville anymore, which, we're super excited about as well. Let's see here. What about a husband and wife team that wants to go through the program together? Do you give a discount? If you'll email me, if that's something that you're interested in, all you need to do is email me at chris.campbell@daveramsey.com. Matter of fact, I'll go ahead and throw that screen up there right now. If two folks want to be a part of the training together, email me and I'll see what I can do for you. That's a very, very common question, and be happy to look into that for you as well. This is a good one as well. What risk are there in offering other people financial advice? Very, very common question. So coaches do budgeting, cash flow planning, debt elimination, things like that. They don't do investments. They don't do insurance. They don't do taxes. Now, can CPAs and financial advisors take our training and under that hat do those things? Absolutely. But your run-of-the-mill everyday coach, they don't have any issues with that because, you're helping someone get out of debt. I'm trying to figure out the risk in that. The bigger risk is selling someone investments, insurance, doing their taxes, doing stuff like that. That's where you're getting outside of your lane. That's part of our training. One of the first things we follow up with is saying, hey, how do you stay in your lane?
Yeah, and it's a risk, but understand when we say the word risk, it's more of a licensing thing, basically. The bottom line is there's regulatory issues regarding investments and insurance and so forth that require licenses. So that's not what we're talking about here. Chris has said the heart and soul of our program is helping people get on a budget, pay down their debt, putting a financial game plan in to allow them to start thriving with their finances.
Yep.
That's what we do. That's what we'll train you to do.
That's great.
If you're coaching a client who has a need for a CPA or an insurance agent or a financial professional, then we have a program for that. You might be aware of that at Ramsey Solutions called our ELP program. So that's just an easy referral to one of our endorsed local providers that is their lane.
Yep.
Make sense?
Yep, that's right. So great question here. I live in the Netherlands. All rules are different here. How are we going to explain taxes and investments? So you remember how we was talking about 80% behavior, 20% knowledge. When you have any other country, every other country in the world, America's got some bad debt. I just talked to a guy yesterday from Canada. It's even worse there. Most places are very debt-ridden. My question back to you, and I'm going to joke with you a little bit, is what do you guys call a budget there in the Netherlands? Or what do you guys call debt in the Netherlands? Because that's what 99% of people you're going to be dealing with are dealing with. They have that problem. Very few people, only 22% of Americans that live in America, number one, are not living paycheck to paycheck and actually are ready to invest some sort of money at all. Okay? So it's not a ton of people. And even if so, they're doing it on 401ks. It's just naturally coming out. They're not focused on that. So the thought that you're going to have to deal with people and their taxes and their investments and things like that, that's not what most people are going to want to deal with. So we teach you how to deal with the things that most people really get in the weeds with. And again, you saw that map earlier. We have people coming in from all over the world. So you never have to worry about going, well, how does it work here? How does it not work here? You know your taxes, you know your investments, but what most people don't know how to do is how in the world do you budget?
Yeah,
how in the world do you get on
we really feel the core principles are universal.
Absolutely.
Frankly, it's a great question, by the way, and we get it all the time.
Yep.
You might call your retirement, your country's retirement program something different than a 401k. That's totally cool. But at the bottom line, it's about saving for retirement.
Right.
What you call it is immaterial.
Right. Bill, here's a good one for you. What personality or characteristics are needed of a financial coach? Like what type of personality is needed?
Is that a loaded question, Chris?
I don't know if it's a loaded question or not.
Okay.
Jeremy asked it. I mean, so.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, it comes back to it's all comers, right? And so there is no pigeonhole. This is what a coach personality trait is, right? We have some coaches that are very detail oriented, right? And are very in the weeds with that kind of thing that make exceptional coaches, right? But it's really not one thing. It's some detail oriented, but it's a kind of a driver personality that's motivated to get out there and help people and to help people change their lives. But it's that compassion, it's the ability to be empathetic, right? This is obvious stuff, I hope, guys, to you. But again, and they're great questions. We do not mind answering them, but this isn't a box, right? Where you open the box and there sits a perfect coach, right?
As we mentioned earlier, guys, the two things you're looking for if you're going to be a financial coach, heart of a teacher and the willingness to learn. Those are the absolute essentials that you have to have, okay? Those are the key. Let's see here. Okay, good question here. Kind of weird, but it's awesome, actually. You mentioned you've turned people away from the program. Once we've been signed up, can we be turned away? No, not generally. When I say we turn people away inside the program, I've maybe, two people that we just said, wow, they were not great, and we just said, hey, this is not going to be good for either side.
It never happens.
2 people. As far as turning people away, it's really on the front end. It's before they get signed up. After the fact, guys, I mean, thousands have been trained. I've probably done 2 after the fact.
And
So
what we're
not
really
common.
what we're really saying there here is we want this to be a good fit for you, right? We are not about pulling people into this program, right? This is not how we work. It's not in our DNA as an organization or a coaching team, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So Glenn just said, this is great. He said, the news of you guys putting this online made my heart leap, and I see it's cheaper by cutting the cost of travel. Awesome, Glenn. We look forward to having you be a part of the training. Let's see here. Do you need to have continuing education credits to keep the Master Coach designation, or is this like an evergreen designation? So no, you don't have to get CEUs to keep it because it's not a certification or anything like that. However, like I mentioned earlier, though, you have to constantly be developing. The coaching world constantly changes, so we want you to continue to develop. I know CEUs are a little different. You have to have those to keep a designation. With ours, you know, the people who take our training, they want to keep growing anyway, but it's not a mandatory thing by far. Let's see here. Sorry, guys. There are so many of you on here right now that are asking questions. I'm just trying to not be repetitive.
Here's a common question that we get is $17.95, or I hope for many of you, $15.95, a single payment, or will you take payments? And that's a common question, and it's a really good question. I would probably ask the same thing. So we don't take payments, right? But there's a reason for that. It's not that we're being obstinate or anything like that. It's that we believe what we believe, and if we're taking payments, then it's a debt. Right, and we don't want you to be in debt to us, so to speak. Okay, so it is a single payment. If you have the money to do this, pull the trigger. Fantastic. Many folks, it's something that you'll save up for, and when the time is right, there you go. We'd rather be in that world than be your banker, and frankly, we won't be in that world.
That's right. That's right. Let's see here. Is the online course being offered later in the year, or just in early 2019? So yeah. So February opens up the training to the world.
This is our next gen coach training program.
That's right. You're going to hear Dave on air starting in February talking about this training. You're going to see it go everywhere. They just won't get what you guys are getting. Again, we're giving you the early bird. You're the first to know about this, the absolute first. There's a lot of people who could not get on this webinar today that wanted to hear about this. They will have to wait 4 or 5 hours to hear about it. You're the first. So there will be many more people that will take the training this year and that will go through. It's online. You can register at any time. But we offer a bonus like you're getting to do it right now and get in while you can. All right. Let's see here. A lot of people asking questions about like, hey, what do coaches charge? What type of pricing structure? So remember that lesson we talked about with the coaches? We have a specific lesson on pricing. And we want to get past this simple arbitrary number that fits everybody. Your coaching and what you feel, you have to feel confident and feel like you're offering a valuable service in order to charge even $1 or even $1,000. So we want to help you with contextually helping you set up how to charge. Now, coaches charge all over the board. We've polled our coaches. We've heard anywhere from $100 an hour all the way up to $400 an hour. We've heard down to $35 an hour. But the coaches who do the best, they're confident and they never feel like they're charging enough. When you help someone get out of debt, guys, and when you help someone pay off their house or save for retirement or send their kid to college and they're not stressed and their marriage isn't in shambles because of money, what's that worth? Pick a number. I don't know, but we start talking about how do you set pricing, and that's what we focus on when there. Question here, and I'll turn it over to you, Bill. Where do we register? So an email is going to be coming out here in about 5 or 10 minutes that will allow you to go ahead and get signed up. However, in your chat box, I've given you a specific hidden link with the promo code JAN200. So you can go ahead and click on that and do it right now, or you can wait a few minutes on that email if you feel like you want to do that.
Yeah, kind of on that, we've had a couple questions here about the link shows $17.95. So the promo code, as Chris just mentioned, the JAN200, once you enter that promo code in, it'll update the price to $15.95.
That's right. Yep. And that's why I just chatted that back out to you. Again, if you want to wait on that email, you're welcome to do that. Yeah. But there it is sitting there.
Here's a question that that one of you had is, this person's is a pastor in Virginia, part-time pastor, and wants to know is becoming a Ramsey-trained financial coach a way to generate supplemental income? And the answer is absolutely. It sure is, right? We're pushing 400 people currently in our local coach program right now, and we have a room for a lot more, by the way. But the vast majority of those, I think there's maybe 4 or 5 people, Chris, I don't know, doing it full-time. somewhere in that range, but the vast majority are coaching part-time as a supplemental income. And so the answer is emphatically yes. It's in fact what we recommend. We absolutely, in fact, don't recommend jumping in and doing this as a full-time business right out of the gate.
Yep.
We think it's something that you should leg into if you're going to go down the business path.
Yep.
Make sense?
Absolutely.
Yep.
So a question came in here. We'll get a few more guys. We'll respect your time. For the January promo, do we need to finish the training in January or just get started?
Good question.
So it is a good question, but remember the training, you don't gain access to it till February 1st. You just get the early bird discount. We'll get you the link out. We'll have communication plan laid out there for you and have you taken care of. So here's another question. This is more of a statement. I've been with Dave since 2003 and I've never had time to go to this. And this is going to be a huge deal, as Trump would say, though. Huge. That's true. Thanks, John. Appreciate that. Let's see here. Let's see. Sorry, guys. Just one more, and then we'll wrap it up here. I just want to make sure we're getting as much as we can today. Oh, you know what? We got to give away one last seat before we wrap up. You know what? If you guys have any other questions, you see my contact information right there. Email me, call me, let me know how I can help you. Again, if you're looking for a spousal discount, you know, we can talk about that as well. So anyway, let's pick that winner, Bill.
Okay.
So let's see. Peggy A.
Peggy A.
Peggy A. You are the other winner of the free seat to Financial Coach Master Training Online. We will follow up with you. We'll shoot you an email. And so let's talk about our winners today. Peggy A, Wanda B, and Aaron M. Okay, are the winners of the, Aaron is the winner of the book. Yep. Wanda and Peggy, you're the winners of Financial Coach Master Training. Really look forward to you guys being a part of the training this year. Again, we'll send out a recording of this in a few hours. That email to go ahead and register is sitting in your inbox in the next 5 minutes. On the chat box, you can actually go ahead and click on that link, use the promo code to get signed up. Thank you so much for joining us today. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you.